So this is just my little actors interview clip. Um, and so I'm kind of just going to be answering questions about what I think about the character and what I feel is kind of going through her head throughout the opening sequence mainly. But yeah, so obviously Detective Manning, who I'll be playing, is a very complicated character as she basically has an unseen mental illness and it's unseen by everyone at her work. Obviously, she works as a detective, and yeah, so she actually suffers from schizophrenia, and this schizophrenia was has been brought on kind of as a gradual thing because of how much stress that she kind of has due to her work. Because obviously, she's quite a young detective, and she's like incredibly good at her job. So she's kind of like a prodigal detective, as obviously the other character says at the start. And so obviously the pressure that she feels due to that kind of title, and obviously people expect so much from her, then the stress just surmounts, and she obviously wants to keep on top, keep like at that top position. And so yeah, and due to this stress, she's just kind of snaps at some point, and yes, she develops this pretty serious mental illness. But so that's just kind of like the background, and obviously what I understand about the character, because she is a very like ambitious character, obviously, as one of her motives for killing Detective Johnson is that, well, due to her schizophrenia, and also because she wants to stay like at the top of the game. And Detective Johnson is this new kind of like detective on the scene, like a rookie detective. So yeah, so yeah, she's a very ambitious character, and that's definitely what I know about her. And that she's kind of one of those people that will do anything to kind of stay at the top. Obviously, she kills a man. But throughout the opening sequence, it's kind of through my acting, I want her kind of different personalities, or her very on her different kind of like moods to kind of show. So obviously in the script she goes from like joking about the beard, etc. But then straight after that, I kind of want, so obviously she says the beard has to go, and I kind of want it to be quite like light-hearted, and then straight after that it's kind of like your job is your priority. So it's very sudden changes in mood, and obviously it may seem a little bit strange to the audience, but that's kind of how I want to perceive, like the audience to perceive the character. Is obviously I feel like she is a very complicated character, and it's like obviously very subtly kind of hinting at the mental illness that she has, obviously just with the little changes in her mood, her very sudden changes in her mood. But yeah, I like the subtlety of it, and obviously once the audience will know like the ending of the film, then they can, when they watch it again, they can like pick up on all these subtleties, and it will make it more interesting. Like so, like every time they watch the film, it will like make it more interesting because they see these little subtleties and they'll be like, ah, I didn't see that before. But yeah, so obviously with the kind of serious bit, so your job is your priority. I want that to be quite I do want that bit to be quite serious, and obviously she's kind of almost like reprimanding herself because she's having like some banter with her colleague, and she's kind of like, oh no, can't do that because, you know, I'm meant to be some really well respected, etc. I've got to stay there. So obviously she kind of shuts herself down again. So it's kind of like this thing where you really see her ambition and you really see kind of like how devoted she is to her job, not only through the dialogue, but through how she acts, and obviously she changes her like tone and her mood, etc., as soon as she says it. So that highlights kind of her ambition, etc., and how she really feels about her job. But I also, like, looking through the script, the dialogue is quite short. So especially when Detective Johnson says, "Oh, I'll see you tomorrow," and all that she replies is "yeah." So obviously, at that point, it has to be kind of flippant, and so I get the sense that obviously Detective Manning wants to be kind of distant, like distancing herself from this person, and obviously the audience will probably just be like, "Oh, she's probably not that keen on him," or because it's just the colleague, so she wants to keep it like on that whole like co-worker, relationship thing. But obviously, like I said before, then once the audience find out about Detective Manning being the murderer, they kind of realise when they look back, and they'll be like, "Oh, I see. She is a bit distant, like in that section there." But yeah, so I want to keep her kind of a little bit. I want the audience to kind of feel like they don't really know what to think of me, because obviously I'm changing my mood very quickly. I'm a bit flippant, a bit distant. So I think that's kind of good, because the audience don't really make that much of an assumption of me, as in they kind of just think, okay, as in I haven't made a completely like evil impression, and I haven't made a completely like light-hearted impression. So it's kind of, the audience feel more indifferent about me, which makes me more inconspicuous, I'd say. So it's less likely that the audience are going to make any assumptions about me and my role in the murder, and obviously until later on in the film. But yeah, so that's about it. But yeah, so that's how I want to play Detective Manning, and that's how I will play her while we're filming. And another thing is, there's the line, and it says, what is the line? That's bad. I don't know the line. I do. The Detective Johnson says, "Will you be okay walking home on your own?" And Detective Manning says, "I've worked in the police force for 2 years now. I think I'll be okay." I kind of want that to be a bit jokey, but then again, I kind of want it to be like, mate, really? Like a bit like, are you serious? Because I want to show her kind of strength, and that she's kind of like not playing around. And I want her to kind of, because obviously she's like some like next level empowered female. Yeah, and so I kind of want that to really show in that line, as in show her kind of strength, and show that she's not weak, and that she kind of is taken aback by this man thinking that she's some weak woman. And yeah, I think that's good, because that will really relate to especially like the female audience, because obviously they're like of a sophisticated nature. Then I think it will like really help kind of relate to them, so they like feel the kind of like personal identity. So yeah, that's what I'll do. Anyway, bye.